The situation on the ISS Valiant was tense, with the atmosphere on the bridge full of preparation and controlled chaos. Captain Jack Keller, his eyes reflecting both exhaustion and excitement, leaned back in his command chair, observing the busy scene before him. The prolonged war had left a deep mark on everyone. "Lieutenant Harris, report status," Keller ordered, his voice full of authority and fatigue. Harris, his second-in-command, looked up from the control panel, reporting that all systems were functioning well and the fleet was ready to fight on Keller's command. The alien Cal had underestimated humanity in every aspect, viewing Earth as a backward planet with primitive and chaotic inhabitants. That was their first mistake. The Cal ships had descended from the sky with a fury of fire and steel, their weapons reducing cities to ashes, relentless and cruel with superior technology. But they didn't know that humanity had a secret weapon that would change the course of the war. "Prepare the weapon," Keller ordered, his voice steady. "Let's show them what happens when you back a human into a corner." The crew moved with determination and urgency, their actions precise and well practiced. They had trained and sacrificed much for this moment, and now it was time to test the results. The secret weapon, called the Equalizer, was the result of a desperate gamble, combining human creativity and audacity. Harris reported that the Equalizer was ready to fire, his voice mixing respect and fear. They knew that if successful, they would change the course of the war; if they failed, they would die. Keller stood up, his gaze sweeping over his crew. "Listen up, everyone, we've been fighting these aliens for 3 long years. We've seen friends and family die, our cities burned, and our world on the brink of destruction. But today, we strike back. Today, we show the Cal that humanity never goes down without a fight." The order to fire the Equalizer was given and met with a chorus of cheers. Harris entered the final command code, and the ship's systems hummed with an almost palpable power. The lights on the ship dimmed, and the air vibrated with anticipation. A beam of pure energy shot out from the Valiant, leaving a brilliant trail in space. The Cal ships were caught off guard by the sudden attack and couldn't react in time. The energy beam hit the Cal flagship, and for a moment, nothing happened. Then, in an explosion of light and energy, the Cal ship vanished, its atoms torn apart by the power of the Equalizer. On the bridge of the Valiant, stunned silence was replaced by victorious cheers. Keller smiled softly, but he knew the battle wasn't over. "Focus, people," he called, "we've got their attention. Now, let's hold the line." The Cal fleet, now aware of the threat, regrouped and counterattacked. Energy beams and missiles flew through space, but the Valiant and the human fleet were ready. They moved with precision, their tactics honed through years of desperate fighting. Keller watched the tactical screen, his mind working rapidly to process the battlefield developments. "Harris, direct the fleet to attack their command ship. If we take out their leadership, the rest of the army will fall apart." "Yes, sir," Harris replied, relaying the order. The Equalizer continued to fire, its energy beam tearing through space and destroying another Cal ship. The aliens were powerful but lacked humanity's flexibility and determination. As the battle progressed, it became clear that the tide was turning. Keller knew that today's victory wouldn't end the war, but it would be a significant blow to the Cal and a beacon of hope for humanity. He had no illusions about the cost of this war or the sacrifices still to come, but for the first time in a long while, he felt a glimmer of hope. "Keep pressing the attack," he urged his crew, "we've got them scared, now let's finish this." The battle on the ISS Valiant continued with determination and urgency as Captain Jack Keller ordered the fleet to focus their attack on the Cal command ships. The Equalizer continued to fire beams of pure energy, tearing through space and destroying Cal ships one by one. The aliens, though powerful and technologically superior, lacked the flexibility and determination of humanity. As the battle progressed, it was clear that the tide was turning. Harris, direct the fleet to attack their command ship. If we take out their leadership, the rest of the army will fall apart, Keller ordered. Harris responded immediately, relaying the order to the entire fleet. The Valiant and its allied ships moved with precision and decisiveness, their tactics honed through years of desperate fighting. However, shortly after, Admiral Parker reported urgent news. A Cal dreadnought was entering the area, and it was their command ship, equipped with advanced weapons and energy shields. If they couldn't destroy it, the situation could turn unfavorable for humanity again. Understood, Admiral. We'll redirect our forces to deal with it, Keller replied, determination clear in his voice. Harris, plot an intercept course for the dreadnought. Jones, prepare the equalizer for an extended firing sequence. We're in for a big challenge. The Valiant crew quickly carried out the orders. The ship's engines roared as Valiant changed course, the entire fleet accompanying to support. When the Cal dreadnought came into view, the Valiant crew couldn't help but feel anxious at its immense size and power. As Valiant approached the dreadnought, the Cal ship launched the first attack. Powerful energy beams shot out, but Valiant's shields absorbed most of the impact. Keller knew they couldn't endure for long. Fire the equalizer, he ordered. The equalizer's energy beam shot out, striking the dreadnought's energy shield. At first, the shield seemed to hold, but then it began to weaken and collapse under the tremendous power of the equalizer. The energy beam penetrated the shield, creating a brilliant cut on the surface of the dreadnought. Target hit. Their shields are down, Harris shouted, his voice full of excitement. Focus fire on their weapons systems, Keller commanded. The ships of the Valiant fleet launched a barrage of missiles and energy beams, targeting the dreadnought's weapons systems. Consecutive explosions occurred on the Cal ship, making their counterattacks sporadic. Captain, we're receiving a distress signal from the Cal ship, Jones reported, his voice full of surprise. They're requesting a ceasefire and proposing negotiations. Keller frowned. The Cal had never shown interest in negotiation before, their brutal invasion had left no room for diplomacy. But now, with their command ship on the brink of destruction, they changed their tone. Put them through, Keller ordered, wanting to know what made the Cal change. The image of a Cal commander appeared, his insectoid face clearly showing desperation. Human vessel, this is Commander Zack of the Dreadnought Vengeance. We acknowledge your superiority. Cease your attack, and we will discuss terms of surrender, Zack said. Keller stepped forward, his expression unreadable. Commander Zack, you've devastated our planet, killed millions of our people. Why should we trust you now? Zack clicked his mandibles nervously. We misunderstood your capabilities. Our leaders believed you were weak, unworthy of respect, but you've proven otherwise. We wish to end this conflict before more lives are lost. Keller considered the alien's words, the bridge silent, as the crew waited for his decision. He knew the Cal were cunning and couldn't be blindly trusted. But if there was a chance to end the war, it was worth considering. Very well, Commander Zack, Keller said cautiously. We'll cease fire temporarily, but remember this, if you make any treacherous moves, the equalizer will be the least of your worries. The alien commander nodded, relief evident in his posture. Understood, Captain Keller. We'll transmit coordinates for a neutral meeting point. Let's hope we can find a peaceful solution. As the transmission ended, Keller turned to his crew. Everyone, stay alert. I don't trust them, but we'll play along. Harris, prepare the team for negotiations and keep the equalizer ready, just in case. The crew nodded in unison, their determination unwavering. The battle might be temporarily over, but the war was far from finished. Humanity had shown its strength, But the path to peace was fraught with danger, and Captain Jack Keller knew that, one way or another, they would need all their wisdom and determination to see it through. The negotiations between humans and Cal began with heightened caution from both sides. Captain Jack Keller and his team boarded the Cal dreadnought on a diplomatic shuttle, the atmosphere heavy with apprehension and concern. As they approached, the enormous size and intimidating appearance of the dreadnought made the team feel pressured. They were guided to the negotiation room, where Commander Zack and Cal warriors were waiting. The room was large with holographic screens projecting images of battles across the galaxy. "Let's get straight to the point," Commander Zack Keller said as he sat down. "What do you propose?" Zack hesitated a moment before beginning. "Our leadership acknowledges that we misjudged humans. We thought you were weak, but your resilience and technology have proven otherwise. We want a ceasefire and are ready to negotiate peace terms." Keller listened carefully, knowing he couldn't blindly trust the Cal. "Why should we trust you? What guarantees can you offer that this isn't another trick?" Zack replied with evident concern, "We are willing to compensate for the damage caused and withdraw all Cal forces from human territory. In return, we desire a non-aggression treaty, and the opportunity to establish trade relations." Keller considered the offer, knowing that humanity couldn't endure a prolonged conflict with Cal. "Very well," he finally said, "we'll agree to a temporary ceasefire while negotiating the details. But remember, Commander Zack, any sign of betrayal and we won't hesitate to use the equalizer." Zack bowed his head, showing understanding. "Understood, Captain Keller. Let's hope we can find a peaceful solution." The negotiations lasted for hours, with both sides discussing the terms of the ceasefire and conditions for establishing lasting peace. Keller remained vigilant but also felt a bit optimistic, seeing Cal genuinely wanting to end the conflict. But as the final terms were being drafted, an alarm sounded throughout the Cal ship. Zack's eyes widened in horror as a Cal warrior rushed in, reporting that rebel forces had attacked the defense systems and were attempting to overthrow the leadership. Keller felt his heart sink. A civil war within Cal ranks was the last thing they needed. "It seems your problems are just beginning, Zack," Keller said gravely. Zack looked at him with desperate eyes. "Captain Keller, help us repel the rebel forces, and our peace proposal will be honored. If we fail, the rebels will surely attack Earth." Keller knew he had few options. "Harris, prepare the Valiant for battle. We'll support the California." He and his team quickly returned to the Valiant, preparing for the new fight. The Cal ship shook as it was attacked by rebel ships, and Keller knew they had to act quickly to prevent a full-scale massacre. "All units, this is Captain Keller. Attack the rebel forces and protect the Cal command ship. We're fighting together now." The Valiant's guns roared to life, targeting rebel ships with deadly precision. The equalizer once again demonstrated its power, its energy beam tearing through enemy ships like a hot knife through butter. The rebel forces fought fiercely but were no match for the combined power of the Valiant and loyal Cal forces. The battle was intense, with both sides suffering losses, but eventually, the rebel forces began to weaken. Keller watched as the last rebel ship was destroyed, explosions illuminating the vastness of space. "Commander Zack, the rebel forces have been eliminated," Keller reported. "Now, let's finalize the negotiations and secure peace for both species." Zack nodded, relief evident. "Thank you, Captain Keller. You have our eternal gratitude. Let's ensure this peace lasts for generations." Back on the Valiant, Keller addressed his crew. "We've accomplished something extraordinary today. We not only protected our planet but also paved the way for peace. The galaxy will remember this day as the moment humanity stood firm and turned enemies into allies." As the Valiant returned to Earth, the crew could finally breathe a sigh of relief. The war was over, and a new era of cooperation and peace began. Captain Jack Keller knew there were still challenges ahead, but for now, they had achieved victory and had a chance for a brighter future. The battle with the Cal rebel forces had ended, but Captain Jack Keller and the crew of the ISS Valiant knew their work was not over. With Keller's help, Commander Zack had consolidated power and gained full control over the loyal Cal forces. Both sides returned to the negotiation table to finalize the peace terms. This time, there were no interruptions, and both parties discussed the future seriously and carefully. The final terms were set: Cal forces would completely withdraw from human territory, humanity would receive compensation for damages, and the two sides would establish trade relations and a non-aggression treaty. Keller and Zack signed the treaty, marking the end of the prolonged war and the beginning of a new era of cooperation. Returning to the Valiant, Keller felt a deep sense of relief. He knew this was just the beginning, but it was a significant step forward. He turned to his crew, who had sacrificed and worked tirelessly throughout the war. "Everyone," Keller said solemnly, "we've achieved something extraordinary. We've not only protected our planet but also opened a new path for peace and cooperation. Today, we've turned enemies into allies." The Valiant returned to Earth amid cheers and warm welcomes from humanity. Soldiers returned home, bringing hope and faith in a brighter future. Across devastated cities, people began to rebuild and reconstruct their lives from the ashes. Trade negotiations between humans and Cal progressed smoothly, and cargo ships began moving between planets, carrying new products and technologies. Captain Jack Keller became a symbol of humanity's resilience and courage. He was awarded high honors and celebrated by the people. But for him, the most important thing was seeing people have the opportunity to live in peace and prosperity. The difficult days had passed, and now humanity could look to the future with faith and hope. However, Keller did not forget those who had fallen. He and his team organized memorial services for their fallen comrades, remembering their contributions and dedication. Every day, they worked to ensure those sacrifices were not in vain. As Keller looked up at the starry sky, he knew his mission was not over. There were still challenges and potential dangers in the vast universe. But now, he knew that humanity was not alone. They had new allies, and together, they could face any challenge. "We've done something miraculous," Keller thought to himself, "and we will continue to do even more miraculous things." With determination and courage, humanity entered a new era where peace and cooperation were not just a dream but a reality. Captain Jack Keller and his team on the Valiant had proven that even in the face of extinction, humans could stand up, fight, and win. They had turned a brutal war into an opportunity to build a better future. And with that courage and resilience, humanity would continue to move forward, exploring and conquering the mysteries of the universe. Their journey was just beginning, and many exciting challenges lay ahead. But no matter what difficulties they might face, they knew they could overcome them, because they were human, and nothing was impossible for them.